Is there a way that you can post that to the westmarch page and say, hey, we're having a BOD meeting, join us on YouTube?
Yeah. You stream on YouTube.
If you can stream it live on YouTube, is there a way that you can post that to the westmarch page and say, hey, we're having a BOD meeting,
Yeah.
join us on YouTube?
Let me.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hey, you stream on YouTube.
If you can stream it live on YouTube, is there a way that you can post that to the westmarch page and say, hey, we're having a BOD meeting,
Yeah.
join us on YouTube?
Let me.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hey, you stream on YouTube.
Yeah, I can hear you. You're just really quiet.
Live on YouTube, is there a way that you can post that to the westmarch page and say, hey, we're having a BOD meeting?
Yeah.
Why am I hearing this over and over and over again?
Sorry, it's me.
No, that's okay. I just was, maybe I was hallucinating.
No, it was trying to get it to stop.
Say, hey, we're having a BOD meeting.
Okay, stop.
Stop!
Yes, we are streaming, I believe. I'm going to send a link and just.
It says it's live on YouTube.
It does. Yeah, I just want to make sure the link actually works, so I'm giving the right one. So
Well, I clicked the link that you sent into the group chat and it took me straight here.
Right, but usually what we've done in the past, like years ago, is we've made Fix made a post on the westmarch Facebook page, say, hey, we're having the westmarch BOD meeting. Here's the link if you want to watch live. And that's ultimately what we need to do. So if you can post that on the westmarch page, then we can go ahead and get started, because I believe that we have quorum.
I couldn't. I just checked the YouTube link, and while I couldn't hear it over the chatting that we're doing here, it does appear to be streaming fine.
Yes, I got it to work. Okay.
Yay!
So we've got the Monarch, we've got the PM, we have a quorum. I think the only person that we might be missing is Ian.
Correct, and he's the alternate.
And Brian's there. Right, so I think we're good to go.
So I'm just going to say we're having a BOD meeting right now. Come listen in if you like, and I'm posting the link. And then we're good. Okay.
Perfect. I'm watching the westmarch Facebook page, and then as soon as you do that, we'll get started.
Okay.
Thank you, Brandy. You're awesome.
Sure.
Thank you for figuring this out.
All right.
Yeah, seriously.
My pleasure. I'm good. Yeah, we're good to go.
All right. Ready?
Go.
Ready.
Okay, so we are going to call the May 7th westmarch BOD meeting. We're going to call to order at 7:05 p.m. I would like to start the meeting with a roll call, please. If you can go in alphabetical order, that would be awesome.
Brandy's here.
Brian is here.
M is here.
Justin is here.
Jody's here.
Sorry.
Kim is here.
I accidentally went at the same time as Raven.
Okay.
And just as a order thing, Justin comes after Jody. I'm sorry. Kiana comes before Kim. We'll have this in order.
We'll do it again during this meeting, and we'll get it right by the end of the meeting. So no concerns. All right. Okay. So we have on the agenda to review and approve the March meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the March meeting minutes that Brandy posted?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes?
So for future reference, Brandy, when you're posting that, can you let me know? Because Brian has yet to make a new Facebook.
Sure.
I don't see the point in it.
All right.
Okay. I had
That's
one
personal
comment.
stuff, not for the BOD meeting.
Okay. All right. Is there a better way that is there a way that we can get hold of you, or is that going to be through Kiana so that you
I
get
am
all of
on
the
the
information?
official westmarch BOD Discord page. You can reach me there. You can message me on Discord. I'm available there. A lot of you have me on Discord, I think, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I have you.
I have my cell phone number that Kiana can give out freely if you guys want to get a hold of me. There are ways to contact me. I am currently kind of boycotting Facebook because of how ridiculous they've been towards me.
Okay.
They've deleted his account twice in the past year.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure to get you linked in on everything that we do then in one way or the other. Is there a preferred way that you would like us to use?
I am available on Discord almost 24/7.
Okay, so let's go ahead and use that then. And either Brandy or myself will make sure that you have all the information that you need. Is that okay
Much
with you, Brandy?
appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Or
have you.
Kiana?
Yeah, I have Brian
Kiana.
on Discord. I can.
Yeah, you can also just harass me and I'll harass him.
Okay. Okay, because I know how to reach out to you, so we'll use that way. I did have a comment on the March meeting minutes. On the Dark Shore update, the amount that we started with for the site costs was 3210,
Okay.
and it actually went down to 3010, 3010,
Oh,
because the two picnic sites were $200.
okay. I will update that.
That was the only thing that I had. And it's a minor correction, but it was.
It matters. It's good.
So, do I have a motion to approve those meeting minutes with that correction to the 3010?
You can have my motion to approve those meeting minutes with that correct adjustment.
Right.
I
I
will
have a
second
it.
that.
second. Does anybody say nay? All right, so the meeting minutes for March are approved. Brandy, if you could make that change and then post that onto the CA Amped Guard
Sure.
BOD meeting minutes, that would be great. And I saw that you made a note that you had posted the February meeting minutes.
Yeah, and I posted March per the request last month for us to all review, but
Right.
it was too late. So they're there. I just need to update the dollar
Okay.
amount. Yeah.
Okay, good. I thank you for making that effort to get that all caught up.
Sure.
Okay, so then the next item is to review and approve the April meeting minutes. Has everyone had a chance to look at the April meeting minutes?
I am actually the April meeting minutes. There they are. Wait, that's actually the meeting that I did not make it to.
That's okay. There's no reason that you can't read it and be familiar with it and have comments.
Sweet. Okay.
Or questions, since you weren't there. It's fine. Let me know when you've looked at it.
Yeah, I'm good.
Does anyone else have any discussion or comments about the April meeting minutes? Motion to approve.
Seconded.
Anyone have a nay vote on approving the April meeting minutes?
Yep.
Me.
Yeah? Did you say you?
No, I said me.
Oh, neat. Okay. All right.
Not
So
saying nay.
the April meeting minutes are approved as posted, and Brandy, you can get those uploaded onto the BOD meeting minutes, and we will move on from that.
Great.
Okay, so the next item on old business is the bank account and PM turnover. Kiana and Justin, what's the status of that?
We have not been able to. As you can imagine, getting together is somewhat challenging for us right now. We have different schedules, the lockdown, all the other fun stuff.
Okay, so what implication does that have as far as the PM turnover and having Kiana put onto the account, and how does that affect the requirements as set out in the corpora?
So the requirements as set out in the corpora, let me pull up the corpora really quick so I can read it out. She has to be able to review the accounts at her request, as I recall. But
Yes.
let's okay. Scroll all the way down here.
Yeah,
Board of Directors.
I got it. Kiana. I'll handle it tomorrow. I love you.
Fine.
You don't have to do it tonight, though.
What do we not have to do tonight?
Nothing, just house chores. I have an injury on my hand, and so I have a brace on it, so dishes and stuff, because I'm not supposed to take the brace off. So he's saying I don't have to do it tonight.
Sorry.
So this is the duties of the treasurer. They will work closely with the prime minister in monitoring kingdom funds, perform unsolicited audits of the kingdom financial records, audit all records at the end of each prime minister's term of office before they are turned over to the next prime minister, as well as the middle of each of the prime minister's term. If necessary, seize all records and finances with the approval of the president, the disposition of which must be handled at the next board meeting, and maintain the kingdom's nonprofit status.
So I think kind of obvious, excuse me, with like the COVID and the social distancing and all that. You guys are probably not able to meet up in person and go to the bank and take care of that. Is that right?
It is definitely more challenging than it would be normally.
Okay, so my question is there a way that we can make that happen so that we are compliant with a corpora? Because there's no contingency in the corpora for COVID. Is there a way that we can make that happen so that we are compliant with the corpora?
Justin, what do you have going on this Saturday? Because I get off at noon, and I can meet with you at a bank close to both of us, or about halfway between us both, because I know we don't live too far.
We don't live too close either. I have free time on Saturday. I'll dump the plans that I currently have. As far as
if Sunday's better, I'm off all day Sunday and all day Monday. I'm also off every day after noon because I get off work at noon.
Banks are closed on Sunday, so that won't be an issue. The other thing, I mean, my question is, how does it work? I'm assuming it kind of like traditionally you would both go into the bank and meet in person and do signings and those kinds of things. Is that going to be, is that
first time doing this?
Well, Justin,
that is correct.
Okay, so is that something that with the social distancing and the way things are working now can actually happen?
It can happen. It just takes a long time. And I know of banks that will be available for that. I don't know if I have to make an appointment. They were suggesting that you might have to.
The bank that's in my town, the one that's actually open, we were able to, so basically, long story short, we went in to pay off a credit card and we were able to meet with people.
It's the business bankers that were saying that they, for appointments. So
not the tellers. Gotcha.
Yep.
Is there a way that you can work on that to make it happen before the next BOD meeting? Because what I'm looking at is I'm looking at like July, let's see, was it July, August is going to be the next PM turnover. And I think it's important that we get it done this term so that there's not
agree with
a
that.
discrepancy and a hole in this process for the corpora.
That's fair.
Yep.
Okay, so what's your plan?
How about tomorrow when I get off work? Justin, what bank would you like to use? Because I don't mind doing a bit of traveling. That way we're not both traveling. And I'm already.
So
I
you're
don't know
breaking
if-
up. You're breaking up. I'll take off at lunch. If you want to meet me, I'll take a late lunch. And if you meet me at the Wells Fargo on Truxell and El Camino, if that's not too
Where
far
is
for
that?
you,
Where is that?
it
Town,
is
town-wise.
Natomas. It's up I-5.
Okay, I work in Jackson, so that's quite a bit of a drive for me to do right after work. I'm not sure how late of a lunch you're talking.
I was
For me, I'm off at noon.
I was figuring like 1:30. As far as getting off early, that's not going to happen tomorrow, and I'm probably going to have to work through the weekend, but I can jump out of work to try and do some banking with you.
Okay, let me think. I can probably make it up there. I'm not sure how long it's going to take because I would take the back roads, like through Jackson and South Watt to get up to you. I want to say it's going to take me like at least an hour to get up there.
So let's see.
Is this something that you two would be able to figure out through private
Yeah.
messages?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's figure it out on private messages once the meeting's over. I actually have to go to bed because I have to be up at 3 a.m. So when you wake up in the morning, text me and we'll figure it out.
All right.
Okay, just however you guys work it out, it really, I don't know no one knows what's going to happen, in the next week or 2 or 4, but it needs to get done. And if you can get it done as soon as conveniently possible, just so that we can tick this off.
I understand.
Okay, so you guys are going to private message, and then if you want to post on the BOD chat, even that's been completed, or if we need to do anything, if there's any way I can help, let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so the bank account PM turnover, probably what we need at this point is a motion to table this until the June meeting.
I'll motion to table it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so that motion passes. Kiana and Justin will get together and meet somewhere, somehow, at some time, and get the PM turnover taken care of before the June meeting. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the tax filings. Justin, what do you have for us on that?
I have filed the state SI 199 and the federal I-199, I want to say.
Can you say that again? The SI what?
199 and the federal, I believe it's an I-199. Might be F-199. It's the 199 for
the FU 199, right?
thereabout.
Federal.
I opted out.
99.
I'm sorry, what?
I said the something 99.
So I submitted those and they went through just fine. I opted not to do the SI 100, which is a state form. We're only required to do that every 2 years. And it's an update of the officers of the board. Because it comes with a fee attached, I figured we'd probably just want to save the money.
You know when the last time it was filed?
Last year.
So if it's every 2 years, we're good this year then anyway.
Exactly.
Great. Okay, so I am going to say, it sounds like the tax filings are completed. And we can close that item out for this year. Does anyone have any discussion on that?
Just clarification for my notes. So we did not file the S-100, but we did file the state and federal 199s.
Yes,
Okay.
the 100 is
Yeah.
an update of our
Okay.
board members for
Sure.
the Secretary of State, and it is only required every 2 years.
Okay. So I have
Do you know what
the
the fee is?
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, you had a question?
Do you know what the fee is?
$20. So not a lot of money, but still money.
Still money. All right. So let's close that out for this year. The website move. I did not see. I didn't see Ian in the list of participants, and
No. And he and I have not been able to connect. So
okay.
I will message him immediately, actually during this meeting, and schedule some time for me and him to coordinate how we want to pursue this.
Okay. So let's go ahead and table that for this meeting until the June BOD meeting. Is there any discussion? Anybody have any more discussion on that at this point? Need a motion to table to the next meeting?
Add motion to table to the next meeting.
Second.
Anyone vote nay? Okay, so the item of the website move is going to be tabled until the June meeting. Is there any, or defunct lands? Kim, were you given a list of the defunct lands?
I did reach out to them. The only one I heard back from was Sylvan Reaches, and they did say they were fine with closing down. And I did reiterate that if they want to start back up again, they just need to sign a new contract.
Okay, so my question with this, and I don't, I don't know the procedure for this because it's really not anything that is on the contract. So they kind of are opting out, so to speak, and they'll sign a new contract. So I want to kind of keep that in mind for when the audits come up and we have this long list of lands, no audit submitted, no audit submitted, no audit submitted. How do we go about removing Sylvan Reaches from that list for now, since they have opted out?
So the obvious choice is that we can just, when we're doing the audits, decide we're not expecting a audit from this land and not look for it. As far as I have found, there is no mechanism within the corpora for removing a land or a land opting out of membership in Westmarch. Once they've signed a contract, and as I've pointed out before, whether they are accepted or not, they are bound by the contract terms and the Westmarch corpora. There's no way to get out.
Hotel California.
Basically.
So I guess my question is, once a land is signed a contract, and this is something that's been kind of like a continuous thread for me. Once a land is signed a contract, they're always on the list. And it doesn't matter if nobody plays there anymore. It doesn't matter if they haven't submitted audits for 5 years. They're always on the list. Is there any interest or need for some kind of an addition to their contract or addition to the corpora, so that we don't have to, like, I mean, say in 10 years, we're going to have a list of 25 lands and maybe only 10 are active and 10 of those have done nothing and have faded away, but they're still on the list. Is there any need to make a corpora change or a contract change to kind of clean this area up?
Well, as far as making a corpora change, that's not something that we can do. We can ask Kim to approve that kind of thing and put it on the all thing. As far as what we can do as the board of directors, there's nothing that says that we have to talk about it. We can just acknowledge that there is a list and move on from there. So we don't have to say we have this land, no audit, this land, no audit. We only have to consider the active lands.
That makes sense.
So you may have an active quote unquote land that still does not submit an audit.
Nature's Hall.
Hey.
We submitted one, it just
Submitted it.
didn't pass.
This wasn't great, but it was submitted. Don't even.
Well, no, what I'm thinking of is there's the land in Hawaii. There's a
Skyfire Bay.
land. There's a land in, and I don't have the list, which I probably should have. There's a land in Nevada. I think there's several lands that they just don't meet, and they don't submit audits, and they're like non-existent. And so basically what you're saying is we just keep them on the list and we say, okay, no audit, fail, move on.
Because we have no mechanism to remove them, correct. And Faldare is an active land. They don't turn in audits out of pigheadedness. Yeah,
but there's like 4 or 5 others that I know Faldare is, and that's their choice, and I'm okay with that. But there's a number of other lands that have just like faded into the abyss. And it's, I don't know. It may be my obsessiveness of keeping things kind of neat and tidy, but it just kind of seems like there could be a mechanism to be able to focus on the lands that are actually still active and still functional in audits and support and reaching out and what we do as the BOD. And it may be that it needs to be a land contract change that kind of my idea is like the waivers. Well, maybe every 5 years or even 10 years, a land needs to submit a new contract and recommit to Westmarch. And if they don't do that, then they are not considered a member of Westmarch anymore, and they don't have to do audits, and they don't go through the process. And if they do want to reinstate a membership into Westmarch, they resubmit a new contract. I hear crickets chirping.
Well, it is almost summer. It would make sense.
I agree with your plan, Jody.
Yeah, same. I do too. I was just thinking it through.
I thought you were just stating facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kind of like throwing my opinion out there is it would be nice to kind of clean that up so that we can focus on the active lands and not just kind of continue this list at the bottom of the lands that aren't really even really a part of Westmarch. So
so can we make a recommendation to Monarchy to make would it be a corporate change?
Well, I think it's going to be a contract change. I mean, kind of what I envision is we have the contract in the corpora that the lands fill. You know, we've just gone through that with Ashen Grove. Do we and is it the BOD's purview or is it the monarchy's purview to amend that contract and just add something that says, you know, this is good for a period of 5 years, say, and then at the end of 5 years, the contract will need to be renewed by the current monarchy and the current BOD to stay active.
The contract is part of the corpora, and so the BOD has no ability to make changes. The monarchy doesn't really have the ability to make changes. We can put it forth in the all thing.
We have the corpora revision committee meeting later. I think next week we can bring it up with them.
We absolutely can.
So just kind of help me out here. Do we need to make a motion to ask Kim to bring that to the corpora committee, or Kim, would you just carry that and bring it up in their meeting?
I'd be fine with just doing it.
Yeah, that's not, we don't need to vote to force Kim to do something. Kim can just do what she likes.
Okay. All right. So let's do this then. I guess we do need a motion to table this item until June. I don't know that Kim will be back here in June, but I'm sure that will get transferred to the next monarch and brought to the June BOD meeting.
Yeah, and I can also, report into you, what the committee says anyway.
Awesome. I make a motion to table until June 2020.
Seconded.
Anyone not in favor? Okay, so we will table defunct lands idea to June. The next item we have is the westmarch Zoom account. I have in my notes that we were going to put that on the May all thing as far as having the populace approve whether or not westmarch was going to pay for a Zoom account to hold all of our BOD, corpora, whatever other kind of meetings that we need to use that venue for.
Did it make it to the all thing?
I don't believe it did.
Okay.
So I think the May all thing, wasn't the May all thing just the election?
It is the regular election and the order of the tactician changed to the all thing.
Right.
And then, so that's this weekend. Next weekend will be the pro tem all thing.
So at this point this isn't really an emergency. Is there any way so we don't need to add it to the May all thing and the pro tem? Would that be something we would want to put on the June all thing then?
I motion to move it to the June all thing.
I'll second.
Anyone say nay? So the motion passes the June all thing. Excuse me. We'll have an item for the populace to vote on the westmarch funding for the Zoom account. And Brandy, that was what, $14.99 a month?
I believe that's the case. Yeah. Let me look at my account really quick.
That's not bad.
For westmarch to have a Zoom account to use for basically all of our meetings, whether they're live streamed or not. It gives us a venue to host the meetings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I kind of forgot to ask, does anyone have any discussion on that?
It's $14.99.
Okay.
The only discussion that I have is a carryover from last time, that $90 per tithe term is 18 dues paid members. That doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it ends up being money. Add in the $10 a month for internet hosting, and we are starting to actually deplete our resources.
you have any other options as far as I don't want to say convenient, but a convenient venue for us to be able to host and stream and record these meetings without having to scramble at the last minute
I didn't say I had a
to make something
solution.
work?
I didn't say I had a good solution. All I'm saying is that between the BOD requested expenses come in at $25 a month or $150 per 6 month audit period or 6 month tithe period, and that's starting to be a substantial amount of our tithe revenue.
Mm.
If I had a solution, I'm sure I would not be shy about it.
No surprise. No, that's good. So I guess my comment on this would be, because I mean, Brandy's basically right now paying $15 a month to be able to do this for us and the COC meeting. And personally, I would like to see her reimbursed for that. But if it dips into the westmarch tithe income significantly, then that's not necessarily fair either.
Well, my question then would be, Brandy, would you want to be reimbursed for the money that you're putting in to host these Zoom meetings?
Let me just jump in here for a second. That really doesn't feel like a fair question. The honest answer is that, and I've been on this kick for a while, is that westmarch should pay its debts. And putting somebody on the spot to say, "Hey, you cool with paying this for us?" it doesn't put her in a good spot. And I'm not trying to call you out, Em. I'm just kind of trying to head off a potential bad feeling at the pass.
Which is understandable. I was just following that train of thought that Raven had, or at least the train of thought that I assumed that they had. In that it's not fair for us to assume westmarch to pay for it, and it is not fair for us to assume Brandy would pay for it either. That's the only reason that I asked.
So, Brandy is, am I on mute? I don't know if I'm on mute. I'm not on mute. Brandy is of the opinion that Brandy got the account to make life easier for herself. Does she want to pay for the account into perpetuity? No. I mean, who would? So I think we can just see where this goes for now.
Well, and the other thing too, in looking ahead, I know that you have really been involved in other groups and the BOD and, secretary and notes and all of those things. So say in a year from now, you're not on the BOD anymore.
Right.
And you're not in these committees and you're still paying for the Zoom account.
Yeah. That's when.
So I think we need to also look going forward. I mean, to me, in my probably not so humble opinion, I think this is really valuable. We used to use, again, broken record, we used to use the Google Hangouts and that was free and that worked really well. And then that didn't work. And then Mike was using his GoToWebinar, like that he had available. And so, there's always been things that we can use that people have, I guess, donated, okay, except for the Google Hangouts, because that was free. And I don't know, looking forward with the way things are now, remotely and everything's more online, if there's going to maybe be more and different venues that would be available to us to use that may not carry a cost. When I looked into the Zoom last time, if our meetings are less than 40 minutes, we don't need to have a Zoom account. But,
Right.
you know, the
So I
VOD
think-
meetings are never less than 40 minutes. So
I think the real
I'm
answer
trying
is
to
that we
look
need to be
forward
quicker.
to.
Go
Go ahead. What?
Talk
The real
faster.
the real answer is we need to be quicker.
Come on now, don't pressure us. We've all been craving human contact with this quarantine stuff.
That's not possible at our time anyway.
Yeah,
So-
I picked, so personally, I'll just give my reasons for why I picked Zoom. I picked Zoom because it was approximately the same or less than many of the other platforms I was looking into. And also it already had built in out of the box features like live stream on YouTube or live stream on Facebook, where other platforms don't have that option. Or it requires an API, and ain't nobody got time for that. So, I mean, we could look at doing something on Discord, and I could, so at that point, if I have to put too much work into it, I'd rather pay the $14.99. That's me because I'm feeling lazy.
So if
Convenience.
Yeah,
if we
it's
use
convenient.
if we use Discord, is Discord available to live stream? And I mean, how would that
So you
work?
have to live stream through Discord by using some kind of open broadcasting software, like
Right.
basically like any streamer would do for video games.
Exactly.
The issue with that is you have to have a really good internet connection in order for the stream to have good quality. That's why I can't do it, because I live out in the country and my internet is terrible.
Yeah, and I can do it. I was testing it for a different purpose, actually for kids with video game things. Um, it's kind of a pain. I mean, so for me, it was like,
Cost over convenience.
yeah, it went back to convenience for me. So, we can keep investigating. I can look into it. I don't know it. I mean, I'm not going to live stream the other committee or the other group that we're in ever. That won't be live streamed, but I still need to record that, and I don't know how good the recording ability is, or if it's available as some open platform. For
OBS
Discord.
Studio, that is the software you want to look up. OBS
Okay.
Studio is the software that I have used to record my desktop, record my voice, record whatever's coming through my speakers or my headset.
That
The
is what I
issue with it
downloaded.
is
Yeah.
when it comes to streaming it live, it's terrible. But if you're just recording a video and going to keep it, it
Yeah.
works out just fine. Now sharing that video, that's a whole other ball game, because then you have to decide what quality you want the video in order for it to be, what size you want the file to be. For instance, you could record it in really great high quality, but it'll be, a gigabyte or two file,
Right.
or maybe more. And then trying to find a way to share that, trying to find a medium, you'd have to use like some kind of share drive like Google or something, and then storage will run out. And then you run into, oh, well, we have all these videos on our Google Drive, we run out of storage. Do we want to pay for more storage?
Right. Yeah, so I'm going back to convenience for now. And I think it sounds like we want to put it on all thing and let the people make a decision. Again, to your point, Jody, I'm not going to be the only one experiencing, the need to either stop being lazy and or donate. So I think we just table it for now, personally.
Is that a motion?
Do we still have the motion to move to all things? Is that
Yeah, we
scrapped?
did have the motion
Okay.
do you, who made the motion? Do you want to resend that?
No, I made the motion and I think Kim seconded, and we had a unanimous approval. So
Oh yeah,
yeah.
it was before the vote is when I should have been bringing this up. But yeah, it has been decided.
We can undecide. I'm asking for notes.
So when we add it to the June all thing, okay?
Yeah.
Is there a way that we can add it to the June all thing and say, We are, however you want to word it, we are asking for $14.99 a month out of the westmarch coffers to pay for a Zoom account so that we can use it for westmarch meetings, recordings, live streaming, BOD meetings, and such. Is there a way that we could add to that this is the implications for or the effect it would have on the westmarch coffers, the financial implications?
That would be something that would be appropriate for the discussion of the item that we put forward. It would not be something that really belongs on the ballot.
A lot of times in the past, we put out the ballot and also another page that was describing that kind of stuff. So I don't know if it's redundant, but it might be useful.
I think that just putting it on the all thing is, do you want to pay $14.99 a month for a Zoom account for westmarch to use for meetings and recordings and blah, blah, blah. I think people should have information on where that is and what it's going for.
Agreed. Yeah. So we can add a description that.
So I guess my dilemma is I don't do all things. I've never been PM, so I don't know how that works. And we've made a motion to add this to the June all thing and we have approved it. So we either need to make another motion to not approve it and table it for further discussion, or we discuss and maybe Justin can give us information on what other information we can add to give the populace background on if they vote yes or if they vote no, what that means.
The best way for us to get that information to the populace is to be active in the discussion of on the items and to bring it up in that discussion. The detailed financial analysis is something that, while we have in the voters guides for example, the state of California, I don't think that fiscal impact, environmental impact statements are necessarily appropriate for our all things. And I would just like to reiterate that the president of the all thing, in this case, the monarch, is the one that puts everything on the ballot. And so we are not able to put things on the ballot.
Is that going to be the next monarch then?
When is coronation?
May 23rd.
So yes, it would be the next monarch.
So I'm going to make a motion to rescind the previous vote and table until June. How's that? And you guys aren't, because I am acutely aware that it's my finances that you're voting on. So I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay, so the motion is stated is we're going to rescind the motion to add asking for approval of $14.99 a month for a Zoom account, for a westmarch Zoom account. We're going to rescind that and instead table this until June so that the next monarch can become familiar with this item and have input on adding it to an all thing, discussing it, describing it, getting familiar with it, and going ahead or not. Is that right?
Yeah.
That works.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. So the motion passes. We will table the funding for a Westmarch Zoom account until the June meeting.
Perfect.
Sorry that was so difficult, guys. That was definitely a learning process for me. Let's see. Oh, Westmarch Qualls. Kiana, can you give us a kind of a debriefing on how that went electronically?
So in the future, when it comes to quals, we definitely need to, well, let me rephrase that. If I ever run it again, I need to have a set up, I guess, sheet that I need to have people aware of, that they need to sign in their items as they would do at a traditional quals. Because just getting everything in order was ridiculously complex. And there was a lot of mislabeled items, items that weren't even given a category or subcategory. It was a hot mess. But I think if we ever have to run one of those again, having a set up form for people to sign in their items like they would normally would make everything run a lot smoother.
Now, was there what I remember seeing? I know it was on TR. I don't remember about the Westmarch. Was there a submission form, kind of like we do for awards, where people put their name and their land and the description? And because I don't remember seeing a category and subcategory on that.
There was not. I probably should have done that. However, I was basically given a week to get ready for this, and I'm not very well versed in technology like that. Like, I can do basic Word and basic PowerPoint and stuff, but this was a little bit beyond me. Like, I had to have Poe help me in Google Drive because this was pretty much the first time that I had really used it.
Make no mistake, she fought me on that a little bit.
Love you too. But yeah, in the future, I think Google Drive, so long as there is a document with a spreadsheet for people to sign their items in, and then they send photos or even upload photos into Google Drive, I think that would make things a lot easier. However, without a lot of preparation, I really wasn't ready for this. But in the long run, I mean, we got it done.
So having been involved in the receiving of the information on this, as well as judging another similar online quals, I don't blame you, Kiana. I do not think that this process was one which could have been done well. There's simply too many challenges to it. It is a nightmare. And thank you for taking that on, but it is rough.
Of course, like, it was a challenge, but hey, at least I can say I did something that hasn't been done before.
Well, and the other thing too is I think it's kind of like this whole COVID thing. It points out, with the changes that are going on and everything switching to social distancing and doing things not in person, how do you judge something that you can't touch, that you can't measure the weapon? If somebody doesn't submit something with a category and a subcategory and a description, ordinarily you can go over to them because you can see them and you say, hey, and you fix it and then you go back. But people aren't available electronically. They submit their stuff and then they're doing something else, and they're not always available when you message them to say, hey, I need additional information. And I think nightmare is probably a pretty good description of how this trial and first run is. I don't know if we'll need to use this in the future, but I think that with what you had, you did a really good job. And I think
you.
with walking through it and crawling through it, that you will be able to provide a lot of experience and good ideas if we need to do it again.
Which I pray we don't.
Yeah. Well, you know, if it's who knows.
Yeah, like if we ever had to do it again, I would feel a lot more comfortable now doing again, now that I've already done it, because now I kind of know what to expect. I know to tell your judges you need your stuff the day after you give them the stuff, because then they might actually submit it on time.
Right. Instead of waiting till the last minute. So I just, you know, I mean, there wasn't really anything. We had talked about the quals at the last meeting, which is why it was old business. And I just kind of wanted to get an idea of how it went and your ideas. And it wasn't really anything I think that the BOD needs to take action on at this point, but I just kind of wanted to hear from you how it was.
It was stressful. While it was stressful, it was kind of fun in a way to see just like what I did experience was I've done quite a, I'm not going to say a lot, but I've done a decent amount of judging for ANS competitions in the past, smaller scale, but still. And I noticed that during the digital quals, I got so many detailed, really, really detailed explanations on items. Like, granted, I did have some items that were just like, it's a thing. But then I think at least 3 of you have seen the quals entries. So like Raven, you saw how detailed some of the entries were, and then Justin, I think you saw them too.
I did.
Yeah. Kim, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at them since you entered, so.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen them at all.
Yeah, well, with quals being over, if you wanted to go back and look at stuff, like, even if you just look at the master sheet doesn't have anybody's names on it.
To be honest, the only time I would really want to see them, and I kind of do, would be for awards. Because
there
right
were
now,
a lot of items that I do believe deserve awards. I just do not know what category to put them under.
okay.
Like, for example, there's a journal on there and it's leatherworking. I don't know what to put that under.
Okay. Well, let me get together with you outside of this, and maybe I can get a hold of the photos and look at them and figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to overlook anybody.
Yeah, definitely. You should have access to the Google Drive still. If not, let me know and I'll re-email you the link.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to take up a lot of time in this meeting. The categorization of items and quals is a pretty significant section of the corpora. And I think the BOD concern is in the future, if we need to do quals electronically, obviously we didn't do fighting, but at least as far as the arts and sciences goes, is let's take what we learned from this experience and then see how we can change it, what worked, what didn't, so that we can make it meet the corpora for the next time. And I think a lot of that is going to be your experience, Kim's input, and then also the next monarch kind of taking what we've done and, you know, going from there. Okay, does anybody else have anything they want to say about this? It's not really an action item. It was really kind of more of just a discussion. Are we all good?
We should be good.
Okay, super. The next item was, did anybody qual for Monarch and were they added to the meeting? And that was a no and a no, so we can move on from there. Does anyone else have any old business, anything I forgot?
Nope.
Beautiful. So let's move on to new business. The farm bid. Kim, can you give us information on the farm bid?
We only had one bid that came in, and that was the one with Ita and his crew. And so Jody and I looked it over and asked some questions, which they clarified, and then we went ahead and accepted it. So it's down for some time in October.
So Ita contacted me, and just give me a second and let me look. I gave him all of the information and the contact information for the Parks Department. And let me see. I'm just looking to see if he gave me a weekend. There's a weekend, October 15th, 16th, I think it is, that the Parks Department was not available, that they didn't have an opening. And it looks like the dates that he was going to request was the 22nd of October to the 25th of October.
Okay, I did upload the bid and the secondary answers to our questions into the Monarchy Drive. So it is there for the next spring to access if they need to.
Okay. So I guess probably what we're waiting for at this point is for him to get a weekend set up and make an announcement as far as that's confirmed. So I think that's the current status of FOM. I haven't seen anything yet from him as far as an official time. Okay. Kim, did you have anything else on that?
No, that was pretty much it. We're kind of waiting on the state to open up and them to have a date.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I've also, as far as new business goes, I just kind of wanted to put this on new business so that I can move it to old business next month. I just wanted to have some sort of a discussion on how audits are going to be handled. Traditionally, we've done a land reach out for audits, and we have assigned lands to members of the BOD. We'll be picking up on this next month with the new monarch. And so for now, that's just kind of, I think we should probably still do that. But there's going to be some significant changes with the COVID and social distancing. For example, I don't think that many lands actually held quals. If they did hold quals, they didn't have the weapon master. I don't know of anyone who has or hasn't held cultural quals. I know TR's held cultural quals online, and I know that Westmarch has, but I'm not sure about other lands. So I just wanted to open a discussion. And again, tonight it can just be to open it and move it to old business next month. But how are we going to examine and judge audits as far as meeting the corpora requirements?
So I have a convenient answer for that.
Yeah.
Which is in our mundane issues and laws section for emergencies and contingencies. In the event Crown qualifications are canceled, and all things will be held to determine if the candidates will for office will be considered qualified, or if they must run pro tem. Sponsor chapters need to cancel regularly scheduled meetings. So for cancellations and for Crown quals, there are instructions in the corpora. And they have to include in their audit submission an explanation, which would be likely a very small thing, because it would be, COVID-19.
A small thing and not an all thing?
Hey.
Sorry, I couldn't pass it up. Okay. So basically that kind of gets around the, did you hold quals or not? It's like we didn't hold quals because of COVID, and that's a simple statement, and that will suffice.
Yep, and that is in the corpora.
be great. Okay, super. So next month then, thank you for that. Let's revisit how we are going, and June may be a little bit early, but there's not really a lot else going on in June, and July is when the audits get submitted. So I think June is going to be a really good time to further discuss quals and audits, and what are we going to be looking for in audits. Advertising has always been a big one. Sign-in sheets are going to be, we should discuss it, just kind of all of that, and get centered as far as going forward into July when the audits are going to actually actively be composed. I
Yeah,
just
that's
wanted to bring that up this time.
that's a good point too. From an advertisement perspective, we're not really able to invite people to come join us at the park, so we have to figure out what types of advertisements we would accept,
Right.
or if they're
And
needed. Yeah.
Yep. I think it'll be a bigger discussion than it has been in the past, just because things are so different.
Yeah.
But hopefully there won't be a lot of other old business, and we can kind of spend some quality time on that topic.
So one thing I want to ask is, what if we say because of this virus, we're going to skip this round of audits?
And give everyone a pass?
Yeah.
Or an excellent? It would be an automatic excellent, I believe.
Is that consistent with the corpora?
There is a rule that if we don't get to the the results in a certain time, they become automatic pass or automatic excellent.
They become automatic excellent.
So we could, by virtue of deciding to not review audits, automatically pass everybody. Is that what I'm hearing?
We can, yes, we can receive audits by the deadline or not, and as we don't post our results, and if we can subtly announce our intention to not post results within 1 month, everyone gets an excellent.
That's an interesting idea.
Or not so subtle, since we're live broadcasting the conversation.
Well, I think for the people that are watching it, maybe they have opinions. Maybe, I mean, for some people, audits are kind of a myth, and some people, audits are really important because they take a lot of time with attendance sheets. And I think people have taken a lot of time trying to maintain some sort of attendance record and doing what they can to maintain normalcy during this time, and keep attendance records like on Discord or on Facebook, or people have different opinions about things.
Yeah. I just for myself, I tried to do that, but it's kind of difficult because you can't, once someone's joined, unless you give them specific times to show up, it's a little bit more difficult to coordinate, right? Some of those activities. And then we're not giving credit right now, right? Because we're not signing people in. So I personally didn't, because we had our regent running stuff live. He did an amazing job. Went through the helmets and some other stuff. We have a Discord. People are out there chatting and staying connected. But I looked at Discord more as a way to connect, less than a way to keep tabs on who's participating still, who's joining, that kind of thing. Me personally, I guess everyone has a different take on it. I kind of like the idea of subtly, not so subtly, maybe not posting our audit results in time, personally. Just because I don't know how you could do that and make it fair for everybody.
Well, I think if the people who have maintained attendance records, and you can't have like park days and arts and sciences classes, and not everybody's going to be able to join Discord. or
Right.
not everyone is going to have an
Technology.
equivalent ability
Yeah,
to be online and to continue to maintain sign-ins electronically.
agreed.
And so I think, how do we make it fair to everybody?
Yeah, agreed.
Because you can't penalize people and lands for those people who, I don't know if they say they don't have a computer, okay, or what? Let's just say they don't have a computer, and so they don't have any ability to interact electronically, and so there's a definite negative effect on
Yep.
their park. And why should they be penalized when ordinarily they'd be showing up at the park and signing in
Completely agree.
every week?
Yeah.
So let's do this for tonight, because it's already after 8 and it's only May. Let's kind of think about some of the things we've talked about. If anybody else has anything they want to bring up for us to think about until June, please do. But let's kind of think about the corpora and think about the audit form. Go through the audit form and look and see exactly what is in the audit form. And what needs to be submitted for a pass or a fail or an excellent audit, and how do we amend that or consider that for the current situation for the audit period, because audits are going to be in July.
Okay.
And they're due August 1st, I believe, is what I read today. So we have time. Like I said, I just wanted to bring it up so that we had time to really consider it and think about it and put some thought into it, so that we do a good job.
Sure.
And we're fair. If anybody else has anything to say about that, now would be a good time. Or if anybody else has any new business that was not on the agenda they wanted to bring up.
Not I.
Nope.
Not I, said the Clinot. Okay, so let's schedule the next meeting.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna bow out now and go fix dinner. And I just want to say thank you for working with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks.
So scheduling the next meeting, just in the we're having
Yes.
the all thing this weekend for the regular elections, right?
Correct.
And then the weekend of May 16th, 17th are the pro tem elections.
Correct.
Correct? Okay. All right. So when can everybody meet again in June? I don't know that there's really anything pressing that we have to meet earlier or later. What weekend? Thursday nights still?
Yeah.
That
They still work
works
for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick one.
The 11th.
What about June 18th?
Oh.
That's June. No, it's not. That's
Yeah,
day
June
before, never mind.
18th is a Thursday.
Yeah.
So that's almost
It's 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, a month and a half from now.
That
How
works on my
about
boat.
June 18th, 7 p.m.
Sure.
I'll motion to schedule that.
For what? Be specific.
I'll motion for the June meeting to be held on June 18th at 7 p.m.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Oh.
Anyone not in favor? Okay, so let's have the June next meeting in June 18th at 7 p.m. And that should give us plenty of time to think about the all things, or sorry, not the all things, but the audits and how we're going to do before we go into July. And then we can talk about reaching out if we even need to do that. So, okay. All right. So that's it. Guess what's next on the agenda?
Closing the meeting at 8:17 p.m.
Yeah. How about a motion to
Yay.
adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And
I'll
a
second that.
Anybody not want to just bow out? You want to stay on here all night?
I demand you all entertain me all evening. Get to
Sorry,
work.
Grandpa.
Nope,
Okay,
I've
so-
got work at 3 a.m. Good night.
Oh dear. All right. So meeting adjourned at 8:18. Just flip.
Awesome.
Good
Bye,
night, y'all.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks,
Have a good night.
everybody.
Night,
Good
night.
night.
Night.